welcome back to another episode of the Thumb Strong podcast. We are joined as always by Coach Bethany. How are we doing?
Top of the morning. I'm good.
Good. Barry, how are we doing?
Morning. Good.
Good. All right. What are we talking about today?
That
Go Bethany.
yard work is not enough, and why training volume still matters, even in the summertime.
Yes. So this is an important topic because every summer we usually see a little bit of a drop off in memberships just because people are excited about summertime. They want to get outside, do a lot of yard work and chores and projects around the house, do a lot of camping, stuff like that, which we highly encourage. And I love doing all that too. We do a lot of camping trips. We do a lot of yard work. And I love getting outside, getting fresh air, getting some sunlight. But we want to talk about why yard work isn't enough to replace strength training. And so we're going to talk about volume and how volume relates both in the gym but to our yard work, and how it really just, you can't really compare it or get enough volume in for doing those kind of tasks and chores because it's kind of randomized and it's not, you can't really calculate it as well. And so we're going to actually calculate it out for you guys so that you can understand the difference between doing a 30 to 60 minute workout in the gym and doing, your projects around the house and stuff like that. So obviously, like, outdoor activity is excellent for your health. You're going to get a lot more steps in, burn some calories. Just getting outside in nature and getting some sunlight is great for your mood and for your stress and your lifestyle. But it doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily replace that strength training. And so we're going to talk about kind of the difference and then our recommendation for what you should do for a minimum amount of strength training volume to at least maintain all your progress or your strength for the summer. Doesn't mean you still have to train the same amount. You can reduce it, but we do want to stress the importance of continuing at least the minimum to maintain or even continue making progress during the summer. So segment one here, we're just going to kind of talk about the outdoor activity. So like I mentioned, it's great for getting extra steps in, burning some calories. It is good for your cardiovascular health, reducing that sedentary time, the time that we're sitting every day, improving that stress. But the issue is the yard work just isn't that replacement, like I was saying. So it's great physical activity, but the strength training is really the progressive overload that is going to create the adaptations that we want for maintaining and building muscle. So with that being said, we'll go into training volume. Bethany,
Science.
What is training volume?
Yes. So essentially, it is the total amount of work that you're doing in a workout or over the course of a week. There is a very simple formula that you can use. Some people use different metrics for it, but generally you take your sets, multiply by your reps and your weight, and that's your total volume. So if you did 3 sets of 10 reps on a goblet squat at 40 pounds, that'd be 1,200 pounds of training volume within that for that single exercise, that workout. Mm-hmm. Now, some people will measure it by like sets trained per week by the muscle group. That's what a lot of studies use as far as seeing what training volume is most effective. But it's a good way to put in perspective how much weight you're lifting over that short span of time. And so then if you're doing like dumbbell bench press, doing 35 pounds each hand, 3 sets of 10, that's even more volume. So 2,100 pounds of total volume since you're moving like that 70 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's just how much work that your muscles are doing and what the load of stimulus, what the amount of stimulus is that your muscles are getting during the workout or during the week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it adds up really quick. So like that's one exercise, 3 sets of 10. So if you think on average you probably do, 5-6 different exercises at least every workout, different muscle groups, you can easily hit 10 to 15,000 pounds of volume each workout. If you're doing 2 to 3 workouts, you're talking about 30 to 45,000 pounds of volume lifted. So if you were to think about like how many bags of mulch you'd have to carry around the house, or like how much you would have to actually do, you cannot really compare. You'd have to do 8 hours of manual labor 5 days a week to even get close to like 45,000 pounds of volume.
Yeah,
So
unless you're like carrying stones and
yeah,
laying
Yeah.
brick or
Yeah.
anything like super intense.
Yeah.
But again, most people aren't
right.
doing those super intense things.
Yeah,
And
I
I
don't
do-
go every day.
And here's a great example. It was kind of funny. So on Monday last week, Bethany and I were doing our leg day, and Barry was doing his leg day. And I think we had like 4 sets of 4 or something like that.
Yeah,
on
5 by 3, I
front
think.
squat. Oh yeah,
It's
5
5
by
by
3
3.
front squat. So 15 reps. I was using, I think, I don't know, somewhere between 225 and 255 pounds. So let's call it 250 times 15 would be like, I don't know, 3,700 and some pounds. Barry, what was your squat sets?
I had 3x5 at 275 for back squats, but in between each one, I had 10 reps of 225, and then the last set, I had 20 reps at 185.
Okay, so you got your phone?
Yeah, I can do
Let's
that.
do a little math because this is
That's a
just
lot.
nuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Could be doing like 10,000 pounds of volume.
Yeah,
just in, like,
easy.
So
one workout
just-
alone.
just the 275 for 3 sets of 5 is 4,125 pounds.
And then you did 2 sets of 10 at 225.
Yeah, so 20 times 225, that's 4,500.
So you're at 9,500.
Yep.
And then the 20 squats.
And then 20 times 185, that's 3,700.
So you're looking at like 12,000 or 13,000.
Yeah, close around 12,000.
Yeah. So just in squats alone, Barry did like 12 to 13,000 pounds of volume.
But
so,
you couldn't really walk right after that.
No,
Yeah.
I was sore for this for the rest of the week, but
Yeah.
this is price to pay.
which that's like all the volume you'd need for your
Yeah.
legs in
Yeah.
a whole week almost. I mean,
Yeah.
Probably overdid it on that, but still lots of
But
volume.
yeah, but that just goes to show. I just wanted to give that example because it just goes to show like how much weight you
Yeah.
can actually move in such a short amount of time.
Mhm.
So going into yard work, like yes, it has volume, but it's usually very random. So if you think about spreading mulch, you might be doing hundreds of reps, like you're carrying a bag, you're spreading it around, you're doing some scooping, some carrying, some twisting. But like if you use the same rotation every single time, like one side's getting worked, if you think about like shoveling and stuff, like you're doing the same. Usually we hold it the same way. It can feel awkward to do it the other way. If you're doing one side or something over and over again, you're not working full body in the same amount of volume. So that's one aspect of it. Plus, it's just very random and it's hard to calculate actually how much you're doing. And you'd have to do it probably for a very much longer duration of time than if you were just to come in here and do some squats and hinges and carries with a workout. You could get more volume, more balanced in a very, very fast amount of time compared to, doing that yard work.
Mhm.
And it's not like you're using full range of motion during the yard work
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
so
Yeah, and that's where like a lot of people sacrifice their, obviously we aren't really consciously thinking about it as a workout, so we're not thinking about perfect form and technique when we're doing that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So that's where like people are like, oh man, my back's super sore from doing that and stuff. And if you're not strong enough, or if you're not training, that's what can lead to more like injuries and soreness and things like that, and kind of lay you up as well. So it actually, doing the strength training can help you get more output from your yard work if you think about it, because it's going to keep your core strong, your back strong, your legs strong. So it's a lot harder to hit everything equally and get the amount of volume that you want, especially if you're doing like the same repetitive motion in the same direction and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's random, it's uneven. You're repeating the same patterns. It's not balanced. It's not progressive overload. So like if you do, certain amount of mulch or stones or picking, like gardening or whatever you're doing, you'd have to increase the amount that you're doing every couple of weeks to actually see progression or like build strength.
Yeah.
So you can't just do the same thing every week, because that's a big part of training too. Like if you came in and you did the exact same workout every single week throughout the summer, eventually you're just going to plateau. You're no longer going to build strength or get any, more fit or stronger, build that muscle up. You have to consistently progress and overload, build more volume in order to get stronger and bigger. Right. So that's another aspect of it as well. But
Why does this matter as we get older? I mean, especially for our audience, right? So
Yeah.
it's-
We definitely have an older audience.
Mhm.
So the summer break can become a problem. Strength and muscle, you either use it or lose it. And it's definitely a big thing. So when people take 2 to 3 months off the gym, they often notice they get weaker legs, their joints are stiffened. It's definitely because like the 4 inch motion,
Yeah.
they're not using that when they're doing their yard work. So more back aches, those uneven, soreness, lost routine is a big one. So it's not like you're doing yard work every day. So you probably just have like a day worth of yard work, and then the rest of your week you don't really have to work on it that much.
Yep.
And then you just kind of lose that, like you lose that routine of working out.
inconsistent. Yeah. Yep. People can notice like lower energy too. Have a harder time getting back into training, especially if they take that summer off.
Mhm.
Yeah. Lose that consistency. Like we said earlier too, like you might develop an injury or something like that potentially if you're doing, especially if you didn't do any training heading into the summer. Like that's a great aspect of training too. Like a lot of people go from no training, sedentary, to doing all this work in the summer.
Yeah.
And that can be a lot on the body too, right?
And they start to lose muscle tone as well.
Yep. So, yeah, walking's great, gardening's great, yard work's great. We're not saying that these are bad things. That we highly encourage them. But what we do want to get across is that it's not automatically replacing the stimulus that your body gets from doing the exercises like the squats, the hinges, the presses, the rows, the carries, the core work, and progression in your training by increasing the volume, which is our next segment. So, like, how do we increase volume? Who wants to do that?
Yeah. So
We got
I mean,
7 different ways.
yeah, you've got a lot of different ways that you can do it. You can obviously increase the sets. Instead of doing 3 sets, you could do 4. You can increase the reps, so going from 8 to 10 reps per set. You can increase in weight, so going from 25 to 30-pound dumbbells. You can, improve your range of motion, squatting slightly deeper with good form still. Tempo, so just controlling more. You always want to be controlled, or just like doing certain pauses can improve that too. The frequency, so if you're hitting a certain muscle group 2 days a week versus 3 days a week, if you're hitting it 3 days a week, it's getting a more frequent stimulus.
Yep.
And then obviously density, so doing same amount of work in a little bit less time. So obviously you don't want to change up all these all at once, but it's like if you are trying to progress on dumbbell bench press and you start at 20 pounds for sets of 10 and 3 sets, right? So then, you're doing 10, you're like, okay, that's pretty easy, but I don't think I can go up to 40 or you could go up to 25 pounds. So then you go up to 12 reps under dumbbell bench press, and then it's hard again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, now this is challenging again. And then you get to 12, and then you're like, oh, okay, that wasn't, it's starting to get, so it's not too bad. You can go down back, to 10 reps, but then go back up to the 25 pounds. Yep. And then, essentially keep going until you hit your genetic limit. But
also, if like, say you're doing 3 sets of 10 benching with the 25s, I'm doing 3 sets of 5 benching with the 50s, we're getting around the same volume. It's just I'm doing more weight, and you're doing more reps.
Yeah.
And then, and that's where like the different weights can help with a little bit different stimulus too. Like obviously if we really want to build strength using that heavier weight, but making sure we're getting the volume in. So sometimes obviously we can't just double the weight.
Right.
So that's where you'd want to add in more sets. So typically when you're doing less reps, you have to do a couple extra sets to get the volume that you want. So for example, like if Barry was doing, 3 sets of 10 back squats at 185 pounds or 225 pounds, he can't just do, I'm going to do 3 by 5 at 450 today.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, probably can't squat 450 pounds. But let's say you can do 315 and you're doing 5 reps. So you're doing half the reps at 315. It's only maybe 90 pounds heavier. What do? You do an extra couple sets.
Yeah.
Instead of 3 sets, you're doing 5 or 6 sets of 5. and that will get you the similar volume amount. So, there's definitely a lot of different ways that we can increase the volume, and you don't have to do it every single week. You could do the same rep scheme, same weight for a couple weeks, and then once it gets easier, that's when now I can bump up the reps, or I can bump up the weight, or like Bethany said, bump up the reps for a couple weeks. Once those reps get easier, I'm getting stronger. Okay, now let's go up in weight, back down in reps, and then you keep kind of repeating that, and you can do that all year, with a lot of exercises. And you'll get to a point where like, okay, obviously I can't just keep going up in reps and up in weight. Okay, let's add another set to it.
Yeah.
And maybe instead of 3 sets, we're doing 4 sets. That's another way that you're getting that volume.
Mm-hmm. And say you do have a busy summer, you have a lot of family things that you do, and you like being outside, and you want to limit or go down in your workouts. But when you go down in your workouts, you can add those extra sets, or you can add those extra weight.
Yeah,
so you have the same volume.
Yeah. And if you're doing normally 3 or 4 or 5 workouts a week, maybe during the winter when there's not as much stuff to do, you can just kind of condense your workouts to where, like, we recommend full body workouts if you're doing 2 to 3 days a week. So you can come in here and just get as much volume as you can in that 30 to 60 minute session, trying to hit an exercise or 2 per muscle group or per movement pattern is kind of how we do it. So like, any kind of squatting, is going to hit mostly our quads, hinging to hit our like hamstrings and glutes. And then you have pressing movements for like your shoulders and your chest, pulling movements for your biceps and your back. So if as long as you're hitting some exercises per movement pattern, and you're trying to get a certain amount of volume, full body, 2 to 3 days a week, you're going to be in great shape for the summer.
Yeah.
And another like nice thing to know for people that want to dial it back, Bethany, you mentioned, like how much volume can you actually reduce and still maintain?
Yeah. So as long as it's like relative to what you were doing to like see progress, or like what you were doing in the gym, to maintain where you're at, you would need to do at least 1/3 of that volume.
Yeah. So you could literally cut it down by 1/3 and still maintain whatever you had built, which is great.
Yeah. So I mean, even if you're coming into the gym 1 day a week, it's gonna help to maintain things way better than if you just like write it off. You know what I mean? You can't, you're like, oh, I can't hit 2 days, so it's not optimal. It's like, no, still come in. If 1 day is all you got, then come in and give that 1 day, and that's gonna help maintain things way better than just like relying on external like work and yard work to do that.
And people kind of discount their body weight. So like a body weight squat, you're still squatting your body weight.
Yeah.
Push-ups, So like even if you did some stuff at home, like right now we're doing our challenge and we've got everybody doing squats every day and push-ups every day.
And they're not super big fans of it, but it goes to show you.
And the cool thing though is like we're doing just 1 minute of each. Well, 90 seconds right now.
Yeah.
So we're doing 1.5 minutes of each. Let's say they're doing 50 squats and 25 to 30 push-ups or something like that. Like you're doing a lot of volume in 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So
like with you calculate that out with your body weight. Yeah. And it's like that's a
obviously it's not 100% of your volume or of your body weight.
Correct.
Push-ups
are generally 70% of your body weight that you're actually lifting.
Yep. And if you're doing like a modified push-up, maybe it's 50 or whatever, but still like it adds up quickly. If I was 190 pounds and I'm doing regular push-ups, 70% of that, and I do 30 push-ups, I may be accumulating 3,000 to 4,000 pounds of volume in that minute or minute and a half. So it definitely adds up. So like also a big part of this, don't think that you have to make it to the gym or not. Like, oh, I can't go to the gym, I might as well just not do anything, all summer. It's like do a minute of push-ups, minute of sit-ups, minute of squats every day. Like that's gonna add up.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a great volume.
Something's better than nothing.
Exactly.
Right.
And you're getting that range of motion to keep your joints nice and lubricated, keep that core strength up.
And it's only 3 minutes a day.
It's only 3 minutes a day. Yeah.
Easiest prescription out there.
Yeah. Seriously. Yep. Hopefully, and you'll notice a massive improvement in your push-ups really fast too.
Yeah, that too.
We actually had a couple people hit bench PRs from doing all the push-ups, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Just because it's different stimulus, and you're doing all that volume, that adds up. You're gonna get stronger in other areas, which is cool. like we mentioned, like that yard work's going to get easier from doing this. So like,
for
don't think, oh, I don't want to be sore because I have so much stuff to do. It actually is going to help
Right.
with it, you know. And if you don't do anything by the end of the summer, you're going to notice, oh man, this is getting a lot harder. Like, I'm not as strong as I was. We even notice that with athletes. So like athletes will train really hard all summer for football season. They get all beefed up and strong and stuff in the gym, and then they don't train during the season because they don't want to be sore for their games, which is understandable. But by the end of the season, you probably noticed when you were in school, like everybody's probably a little bit weaker and lost weight because of all the games and practices and stuff. And if you just cut the volume down by a third, you can maintain all that strength and size that you had built all season. So even if you were training 5 days a week real hard as an athlete, you could go into the gym 2 days, hit everything with a third of the volume, and maintain that strength that you had built.
You just got to understand that your training looks different when you're in season. So, say you're into gardening and now you're in your gardening season, your training's going to look different to when you're not gardening.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, all this, the 2 to 3 days a week, or even one, like Bethany said, even if it was like 5-10 minutes or something every day, or however you need to get it in, it'll help you maintain that strength, keep the muscles stimulated, stay mobile, keep the joints feeling a lot better, support your metabolism. It'll reduce that starting over feeling every fall. It makes those outdoor workouts and activities easier. So the goal during the summer is not to be perfect. It's just to make sure that we don't disappear from our regular routine and our training. 2 days a week can definitely keep the doors open. 3 days a week, you might be able to still continue progressing and keep moving forward even during the summer. So we just really want to highly encourage that. So the outdoor activity plus the gym training is definitely the best combination that we can have. So the best summer routine is not gym instead of outdoor activity. It's gym plus that outdoor activity. It's just adjusting it to fit your schedule and fit your demands and needs.
Finding a routine that works for you.
Yeah. So a good plan could be like, okay, Monday we're going to strength train. Tuesday you do all your yard work, your outdoor activity, go for a walk, bike ride, kayak, whatever. Wednesday you do another strength train. And then Thursday, you got your outdoor activity again. Weekends are usually when we're doing our projects, getting stuff done around the house, camping trips, that kind of stuff. So just those 2 days a week, 30 minutes or so, and you're able to maintain and keep moving forward.
Yep.
So what are some common mistakes that people might make?
The first big one is replacing strength training with steps only. Walking is great, but doesn't load your muscles enough to replace resistance training. So a lot of people kind of get into that. Well, I hit my steps today. Yeah. You didn't put any load on your body while you're taking those steps. So, second one is thinking sweating means it's a good workout. It's not the same as strength stimulus. Another one is going from structured training to random activity. Random activity is hard to measure and hard to progress. Taking the whole summer off. I know some people do that in their training, and like you said, that struggle with a lot of people. Canceling their memberships and things like that, but it's hard to build the habit when you lose it for that long, and then when you come back in, then it's you don't have the muscle memory, but it's going to be harder to get back into it. Lastly, doing too much outdoor labor with no strength base. If you don't have the base to do it, then you're going to be sore in those uneven places. So it makes it kind of a little bit more difficult.
There's something I was going to say on the taking the whole summer off, and I can't remember what it was now, but if I think of it. But yeah, basically to close out, we want you guys getting outside, definitely getting some steps in. Like, we highly encourage getting outside, especially during the summer. Doing the yard work, the gardening, golfing, traveling, pickleball, biking, kayaking, anything that you want to do to enjoy your summer, we're all about it. That's definitely a big part of being healthy, just for stress and their happiness, things like that. Just don't confuse being busy and doing a lot of stuff with the strength training and maintaining and building your overall fitness, especially when it comes to muscle and strength. So trying to at least maintain with 1, 2, or maybe 3 days a week is going to be kind of the sweet spot. So if you need help making this simple, that's obviously what we're here to do. We want to try to fit fitness into people's lives. We understand that you're not maybe going to be able to come in 5 or 6 days a week, and that's okay. Like our standard protocol is 2 to 3 days a week for 90% of our clients,
Mhm.
and usually our workouts are less than an hour. So a lot of them are like our classes are 45 minutes. Our training sessions are either 30-minute or 60-minute sessions. And I would say a lot, like probably more of our clients do half-hour sessions than hour, or at least half and half.
I would say
real
it's a good split.
Because we can get a lot done in that 30-minute period. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful. We just want to continue reiterating the importance of that strength training, especially as we get older, because we've mentioned in other podcasts that every year after 30, if you're not doing some kind of resistance training, you are going to continue to lose a little bit of muscle mass every year, which just makes it harder to keep that body fat off. Your metabolism is going to slow down.
Bone density too.
Bone density is going to go down. It's going to be easier to gain body weight, and then it makes it even harder to get that off every year you prolong it and keep kicking the can down the road and stuff like that. So we just want to do everything we can to make sure that we're maintaining, moving in the right direction to basically stay independent, have that longevity, be able to do the activities that you want to do for as long as possible.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that are, maybe they're getting into their 60s, 70s, or 80s that can't do those things anymore. Like, some people love gardening and they love doing all those outdoor activities, and they're literally unable to do them because they just went too long without doing any form of strength training and resistance training. So, yeah, hopefully this is helpful. Like we said, reach out if you need any help, and we'll see you guys in the next one.